All right, this is David. I'm trying to get started with this process. This is a wealth transfer alliance technology personal demonstration for you. We're just demonstrating you how you want to take this software. I'm going to introduce the software to you to show you how this is a win-win for you, regardless of what you do. Now, my name is S. David. You can see I graduated from University of Arkansas in 1967 as an accounting and administration major. I made God my plan A, but money is my plan B. You see my accomplishments that I've had since that time. All right, so look down under the bottom down there, it says watch our WTA video for detailed information. That is information about WTA. It's in the depth. It's a video. It's thinking about an hour long. So be prepared when you start watching it to get a pencil and pad so you can take some notes to show how this is going to turn out to be your income tax video to show you how to save on your income tax and at the same time save for yourself and your future children that's going to be born after you or the person who's going to come along after you. That's what this is about, you and your future. That's what was being demonstrated to you to show you how to take your wealth, whatever you have, and transfer it. And the technology that we're going to introduce in this video is to show you how to use just that, to take the technology and build your life up. Now, look, you're going to be introduced as a advocate. I am a WTA advocate, and there's also an affiliate. I can't give you a lot of information about that because I've never operated as an affiliate as I have an advocate. I underline it in red so you can see what an advocate really can do. And we work on the people, the product, the process, and the pay. Those are the things that we're going to be talking to you about right now to show you how to take the people, the products that we have, the process, and the process is to show you how to do whatever it is you want to do. And when you do that, following the advocate information that we're going to present in this process here, you're going to get paid 10 different ways or as often as you like and put as much money as you like into your pocket and save on the tax nationwide. This is a nationwide process for the United States of America. And all of the United States of America, those are here inside of America, and there are many, many people outside of America doing work for America. They're going to have this tax savings wherever they so are. Now, look, this is Professor Riley, the founder and president of WTA. WTA, you're going to hear me use that a lot because it's just a short for the relative to say Wealth Transfer Alliance. I should cut it short to say WTA. As you can see, he did it himself because now he put his PhD on a hold, and he's a professor. He has many degrees that you can see down under him, but he's a professor and he put his PhD on hold to launch WTA, World Transfer Alliance. Okay, when you go to the call or visit 1-301-328-4186.com. That's two things in one. My phone number is 301-328-4186. 301-328-4186. Let me slow down. But when you go to the whole process, call or visit 301-328-4116.com. It's going to take you to Professor Riley. I put 2 or 3 different addresses in here to show you what he's talking about because it is really, really just that important for you. It's going to save you a whole lot of time, put a whole lot of money in your pocket. This is the chief of the executive officer, which is Mr. Coach Derek Johnson. He has input in this process. It's just 2 persons that started this whole process in America. Mr. Johnson, Professor Riley. Under, you see WTAtraining.us, that's Coach Johnson giving you a detailed training process to show you how and making comparisons with other similar type operations to show you why we have the United States best. We are the best in the United States. We can prove it. We're going to show that to you this process now to show you why you need to be involved in this for many, many reasons. And I'm going to try to give you as many of them that I can here. I've already given you 2 for your tax purposes. For your pocketbook, the money in your bank is going to increase, and your taxes and liabilities are going to decrease in the process. And when you go to WTAtrainingvideo.us, Coach Johnson is explaining to you and making comparisons with other companies and other operations similar to ours to show you why we are the best. That's what we're already talking about. Now, look, Self-employment persons, if you have self-employed doctors, lawyers, accountants, bookkeepers, hairdressers, cosmetologists, I should say, barbers, and many more persons are self-employed people. All right, they can get corporate benefits through the process. And estate planning technology is what this is really all about. We're showing you how to check your estate and put it using the technology that we have to show you how to gain from the process. Whether you are self-employed, unemployed, doesn't really matter, or you're employed by someone else. Now, look, veterans, I put this here to show you what there's many veterans now as veterans debt assistance. Well, you can do your own thing if you're a veteran. You can get debt benefits if you can, but you think about this process here. If you have other veterans, and most often veterans know veterans, share this information with them to show them how they now can really benefit from the process of the wealth that they may not have or they have. Now look, here are some sources to verify what I'm saying. You notice I'm keeping my income tax video at the top because I don't want you to get too far off the course to let you see that Professor Riley, this is where I'm getting my information. What you see here, what other sources? This is coming from Professor Riley, and he's Riley teaching me and you or whosoever want to learn what you need to do in order to make the accomplishments that's been set aside. You see, you're looking down at the Yahoo Finance, the Street, Forbes, and the New York, they all are talking about the same thing, that $84.4 trillion will be transferred between 2025 and 2045. We're in 2025. Well, it started in 2023, but we're in 2025. And what we're saying is that the $84.4 trillion will be transferred to persons just like you and I. What portion of the 2025 that you would like? Now, I'm going to take a sip of water. Because one thing I do, I get hoarse when I do a lot of talking. Excuse me, and I want to apologize for that now. Look, all of them are saying the same thing here. These are 4 different testimonials for you, and you can go down to see Professor Riley's going to, each time you see the phone number, you're Professor Riley, or you see my income tax video, we're talking about Professor Riley, telling you over and over again what you need to know about this wealth transfer allowance history of the $84.4 trillion and how it's going to be set up and given to you. It will be, and now look, we're talking about you setting up, we're going to get to it in a minute, a revocable living trust. The revocable living trust is to put your will, and if you don't put your will in a revocable living trust, it will go to probate. I just talked to a young man a few minutes ago. His mother passed away, and she and her husband divorced, and then she got all this house now, but some of her assets is going to probate if he doesn't act soon. Whereas she and her husband still had the house together. They haven't sold it, they just divorced, but the property is still in both names. So we're going to put her share, which she's already transitioned going on with the Lord, put her share in the revocable living trust, and put her husband, who is a divorce, share in the revocable living trust. But so see, the trust don't have anything to do with the divorce. The deed is the deed. It's a part of the assets on the property. So you can't separate the deed from the divorce decree. It has nothing, the one has nothing to do with the other one. We don't get into that. But what I'm pointing out on this information here to show you that the sources of information that verify what I'm saying and what the professor is saying is that this will happen. It will happen. And if you don't take advantage of it and you have a will, your will put you in probate, and you stay in probate until the probate court get as much money out of your estate that it wants. Now your estate is now under probate. If I go to prison, the judge can put me on probation while I'm in prison, or he can put me on probation, or she can put me on probation when I come out. So when you hear the word probate, let your mind instantly go to probation, because now your estate is being probated, or it's on probation, and you can't move it while it's on probation because it's there, but still it's excessive in value, and the value is being sucked out by the persons, the court, and the attorneys that the court assigned. You got to understand that. God said above all and get understanding. That's what we're talking about. I'm moving on because I'm taking too much time on it. I just wanted to say, now I am a tax accountant, as I showed you. My income tax video is to show you how you are now going to benefit from the tax. there's two things on here I want to just two part of this return number, form of what we're talking about, which is the refund portion and amount owed. The refund is your money. It's your money. If you don't do anything to keep it, it's going to remain somebody else's money and that's going to slip down to the amount owed. You see, you don't have to owe tax because you have paid the tax. They withhold the money from your salary. And that's your money that's being withheld. How much of it do you want back? Well, follow the instructions that I'm going to give you, and you are going to get more of it back, and less of it will go into the amount owed. Those are only two parts of this form that I'm going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about the tax credits in a minute. See the tax credit up top? Well, we're going to be talking about the tax credits in just a minute. But the tax credits is something that's going to put money in your pocket, okay? The deductions and things like that, expenses, we're going to talk about them too, but I just want to point out the things on this form here. Only we're talking about two categories: the refund, that's your money, or the amount owed, that's somebody else's money that they're going to get. Now look, this is a schedules. This is a part of the information that's on the form that just had the 1040. This is Schedule K1. I mean, this is a form Schedule 1. There's also a form called Schedule K1, but this is a Schedule 1. The Schedule 1 is, you see at the top, additional income and adjustments to the income. So any additional income that you have is going to be added to the income that of any other source, and adjustments to the income. That's why I put that here just to show you what you're going to become faced with if you don't take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented. Additional tax, that's Schedule 2. Additional tax. Now remember the amount on the first one I showed you, amount owed, that's tax. Amount owed is tax. And you can have additional tax. We're going to talk about all that should you have a need to do so, but I can explain it to you. I'm just not going to do it now because that's not the purpose of this information. Additional credits and payments, that's Schedule 3. Schedule 3, 1, 2, and 3 is attached to your Form 1040, as you can see at the top. It tells you right there your name, your Form 1040, your 1040 SR, or your 1040 NR. So your 1040 has these schedules attached to it. Look at Schedule A. Schedule A are your itemized deductions, and your itemized deductions reduces the amount owed on this side. But your itemized deduction is just one way of reducing that income on the other side. We're going to keep on and show you other ways to reduce that income. Here's one right here, not to Schedule B. Schedule B is going to increase your amount owed, okay? Because these are your dividends and your 401ks and things like that. That's what's going to be on the B. Other income, interest, and ordinary dividends, which is dividends is an income. But now to reduce your amount owed on about this form I showed you, here's your profit and loss from business. Profits or loss, profit or loss from business. Profit or loss. Now, your government is telling you that they don't expect you to have a profit off of your business for the first 5 years. They don't expect you to generate a profit for the first 5 years. But if you got more than one business, then you have more than what's been presented because you got different kinds of businesses. Profit or loss from business is reported on the Schedule C. And this operation that we're talking about now, wealth transfer allowance, is going to end up on your Schedule C because it is a business. That's what we're going to be showing you in this process. Moving on. Look, capital gains and losses. Look, this is on Schedule D. All these things here are attached to your Form 1040. I'm not going to go in depth. I'm spending too much time on it as I can see, but I am an accountant, and I'm just trying to get it over to you that these data that you're looking at here, these forms, is to show you how and why you want to take advantage of the operations that we're talking about with the wealth transfer allowance. This is Schedule E. Any properties that you got, rental properties like I was talking about the young man a while ago where his mother passed away and then left her husband with a deed on the house. Well, that property, that's what this supplemental income or loss is about. Schedule E. This is attached to your Form 1040. And your Schedule E is for those properties that you have, rental properties, timeshares. And it's hard to get rid of a timeshare. Well, a timeshare is a property. And your timeshare is a part of your income or your loss. Okay, so all this information here is just to show you why you want to take advantage of wealth transfer allowance. because there's a whole lot of things that you have in your hand, but you're not using them because of lack of understanding. That's why God said, above all getting, get understanding. But once you get an understanding of the process and write it down and make it plain so everybody can see what God told Habakkuk, write it down and make it plain. Well, your revocable living trust is going to be written down and made plain so that the persons who are going to want you to put it into probate, they will see that it can't go into probate because you have written it down and made it plain for them to see that it cannot go into probate or should not go into probate because you put it into your own revocable living trust. Your own revocable, get that word down, get an understanding of the word revocable, living trust. Okay, you should know what a trust is. Now look, my income tax video is going to explain it. This is part of the instructions, and these are the instructions for Form 706. 706 is to see the types of information that is given you for future developments, reminders, all that, the general instructions for the purpose of this form. This form is tied in with your state. This is all a part of the process. You can read the instructions, but here's the form. This is a form that you would have to complete. Self-employed health insurance. Remember a while ago we were talking about self-employed? Well, you're going to have the deduction. Look at the top. It's telling you that this is self-employed health insurance deduction. You can also have health insurance back on the Schedule A. That's an additional deduction. But if you're self-employed, you got your self-employed health insurance deduction. And your insurance, medical insurance, things like that can all be on your Schedule A. Not going to go any further than just let that go, just to show you what you can have. About Form 706 separately passed, the United States Estate and Generational Skip and Transfer Tax Return. This is from the Internal Revenue. Now I put in my income tax video, that's Professor, and Professor is explaining to you how wealth transfer allows detailed benefits and income tax data is on this form. All right, that's all I want to introduce to you to show you how and why you want to become a part of Wealth Transfer Alliance, because it has so many benefits for you that you now are not getting because you don't have the understanding to take advantage of the opportunity to get the Wealth Transfer Allowance detailed benefits in your hand. And back on the two things I showed you in the first tax form I showed you the refund, that's your money, and the amount owed. Well, these data here will show you how to reduce the amount owed, and you're going to take advantage of these because of the Wealth Transfer Allowance detailed benefits and income data. All right, moving on. Look, this is 706. This is the United States, and I just showed you that information, but this is the form. I showed you the instructions. Here is the form that you would be using. I'm not going to go any further than that, just to show you that this is the form. And look, it's how long it is. I'm going to give you just the 2 pages. But look, it has 29 pages. This is a vast book here. 29 pages that you'd have to complete in order to take advantage. What I have states that's, oh man, there are states that takes up 2 of these. Moving on. Instructions for the form right here. Look, it started, they said the instructions for the form 706 down through the years. Just look down through the years where it started. 2019, 2002, 2001, 1999. So it's been around for a couple of days. You see what I'm saying? But and all you get, the more you get. And I put the arrow down here to show this is IRS form 706. And when you get that, you just click on it and you go to the form. These are the instructions, but it takes you back to the form that you have already passed. All right, I'm gonna get out of this. It's Schedule K1, and then you're gonna get information from the professor, and also on my income tax video. It's gonna be talking about Schedule K1, as I made a slip a while ago, because I know I was talking about Schedule 1, and here's the Schedule K1. And look at the form change now. This is going to Schedule K1. This is going to go with the 1065 or a 1041. Most persons don't even use 1065 and 1041, but yet and still you can qualify to use these two forms if you become a part of Wealth Transfer Allowance. And this is going to increase your refund. This is an increase to your refund by completing and using the Schedule K1 to your advantage. It has to be for your advantage to use it. Otherwise, I wouldn't use it. But to look, the beneficiary share of income deductions and credit, deductions and credit. So when you're doing the 1041 or the 1065, it's there. I put it in blue to show you what two forms are associated with the schedule. When I remember I showed you the 1040 back up there, and I had schedule 1, schedule 2, schedule 3, schedule 3, and then schedule A. Well, it's just the schedules. These schedules here are just for these two forms here, 1065 and 1041. Moving on. This here, I put this here to show you we're getting into wealth transfer allowance now. My income tax video is there that's going to explain to you, the professor going to explain to you, but he's not here. I'm just showing you how persons would up, and going to also show you how this gentleman, I'm going to show you in a few minutes, made $2 billion with someone else's money. Now look, this is an example here that this gentleman here, just to tell you the story before you go to the video. He has the wherewithal to buy the jet, but it laughing at him because he didn't look like he had the wherewithal to buy the jet. And that may be you, what I'm talking about. The finger that's pointing, he either pointing at me or you. Because I didn't have the understanding that I need, that I have now, to show I really can afford a jet. Regardless of how I'm looking, you say the tires are different. You see the one that can afford the jet and the one that cannot afford the jet that's trying to sell the jet. He's the one that should be laughing at himself. But yet they're pointing the finger. Don't point fingers at anyone because it's three. See, it's one finger pointing at one gentleman and three pointing back at the other one. So when you point and look down on someone else, it's three chances are that you're worse off. That's all I put this here. I put that video so you can see what I'm talking about in the whole process. All right, that's the whole purpose, and to show you how you're going to move up where you can't afford a jet. You're going to take wealth transfer allowance and use with the wealth transfer allowance understanding to how you can afford your own jet. To whosoever you are, whatever race or color, creed you are, you can afford your own jet. This is for United States citizens. United States citizens, regardless of your age, your whatever it is. So if you're a citizen, you're a citizen. See, citizens don't have derivatives in that. Everybody, anyone can be a citizen. And I'm suggesting to you to get an understanding of the citizen. Now, all these data that you see in the red is actually from the Bible. I told you I'm a student of the Bible. First of all, the Lord is my plan A. But the Lord is calling persons that point the fingers of them. He called them asses. And an ass can be a female or a male. Doesn't really matter. But God calls in 2 books in the Bible, he called them asses. Moving on. I would just put that there for the educational purpose alone. Now, here's an example of the person I told you a while ago that made the money right quick. I just know he transferred his initials, shared his revocable trust. So if this guy needs a revocable trust, you perhaps need a revocable trust. And anyone can have a revocable trust. The whole purpose of this data here is to show you not what happened, but the revocable trust. But I did underline it in the red to show you how much was used and what percentages was used to make the $4 billion. I said $4 billion is in this article. And look at the date of the article. You see on December 24th, just a couple, not even a month away, not a month ago. But this took place for the revocable trust. And you can see it all over. Make sure you can read this and you can go and Google it and get it for yourself. But I got this from the internet to show you that the United States leader has a revocable trust. So if the president of the United States can have a revocable trust, so can you have a revocable trust. And see what his earnings are, well, yours can be the same. All you got to do is get an understanding, God said, and above all, get an understanding. And this is a lesson I think should be taught by the United States government for the citizens, making America great again, for the citizens of America, so they really can be, if they doesn't are using money as a means of being great again. I don't know when America start being great again. I'm 80 years old, and I've never not known America not to be great during the 80 years God has had me here. So this person here, a little younger than I am, but he's telling me that America has to be great again. When did it not be great? It's been great since I was born here in this, and my foreparents was brought here on not on their own religion. They came as a slave. So I am a son of a slave. And America to me has always been great, even before I knew what it was about. I'm moving on because I spend too much time doing things I should not be doing. All right, this is the gentleman I was talking about. The transfer the 4 billion worth of Meta. You know, you may not know what Meta is, but he did use this transfer of his nearly 115 million shares worth 4 billion on paper, transferred it into a revocable trust, living trust, into a revocable living trust. Okay, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And you see how many ganders there are on the left, and the goose doing the transferring. I just want to not use that kind of language. You can join WTA down at the bottom of the red. Just complete the wealth transfer. The wealth transfer allowance in enrollment form and become a part of WTA. And you'll be able to set up your own revocable living trust. I don't care where you are, who you are. All you got to do is become a part of the process, and you can have your own revocable living trust. All right, now here I want to show you this. This is from the Teamsters. These are self-employed in persons, and all these persons, the truck drivers for Amazon, and that's where this comes from. And you see the locations of where Amazon operates and put the states there, and the different kind of it's a different kind of state, but it's showing you where all the major Amazon facilities are for the truck drivers are driving and delivering Amazon products that's through Amazon. People bought them through Amazon, and the truck drivers and all the other deliverers are out putting the packages on people's doors, etc. Well, those persons now, self-employed Teamster members, can have self uh, benefits through the health insurance process. And you notice I showed you why they should have them, because the income that they're making from being self-employed through the delivery of the Amazon product, they now going to increase their refund because they now can get their own group health insurance. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes to show you why. This is just an introduction to show you, whosoever you are, if you got to know someone that's self-employed, make sure that you share this information with them. And every time you share it, you're making money. And it doesn't cost you anything but to tell them about it. So you tell Johnny, Bill, Frank, John, whoever you're going to tell, and they take advantage of what you're going to give them, you're going to be paid money every month for how many people you tell. So you can tell 1,000 people, and 1,000 people get the health insurance benefits and the group health insurance. You're going to make the money from all 1,000 people every month, plus the other benefits, other incomes that come. And this is I'll give you now to the self-employed benefits. Look what a self-employed benefit is for a person. And make sure you listen to the person at the top. Look what a self-employed individual could make. And this is just to look at the top now. This is for illustration purposes only. We're just illustrating to show you what you could earn as a self-employed individual with 1,000 persons. These are entrepreneurs. So you get 1,000 entrepreneurs that get this health insurance. Look what your monthly income could be. And all you're doing is just telling that person about it. You're what's they call it peek and pass. You peep the person's interest, you get the information, name, phone number, who they are, and give it away to the professor and WTA. And WTA then going to have their partners contact the persons, and the persons are going to now get group health insurance, and then you get a check every month times 1,000. You see, so you got 1,000 now, so you got 1,000 people getting the product, the self-employed benefit, right? You're the pointer. You're the pointer. Now I'm from a farm. I don't call it what some people call it. I call it like a bird dog. See, I know when I go hunting with a bird dog, and a bird dog see a bunch of quail on the ground, they'll raise their one paw and point with the tail. So they're pointing me to the quail. They're looking. The tail, the quail are not in front, behind them where they're pointing the tail. They're pointing the tail at me, but their eyes are on the quail that's on the ground. So all I got to do is get the quail to fly up so I can take my shotgun and shoot the quail down for my dinner. All right. So you're going to become a bird dog. You're going to point the persons to WTA, Wealth Transfer Alliance, and they're going to set the person up through their partner, PSA. We're going to get to that in a minute. They're going to set that up for the partner, and then you're going to benefit from the process of them sending that person money. And look what your illustrated income could be. And this is small compared, because if it was 2,000, it'd be more, right? Just think, if it was 10,000, it'd be a whole lot more, right? It's quite a few, millions and millions of people that I can give it to, and I say give it to. And look, the corporate benefits. We also have corporate benefits. This is for a company that has employees. The company is going to make money by sharing this process with the employees. The employee going to make money, and the employer is not going to pay. Just listen to what the professor does and tell you about this. Go to my income tax video, or either to the phone number I've given you. This is the coach I would tell you. Remember I tell you a while ago when you go to WTA training video .us? This is Coach Johnson explaining to you and giving you a comparison of net law, legacy, trust and wills, and WTA. What he's done is to show you the yeses and what you can benefit from WTA in comparison with other similar companies in America. We're the best. We know we're the best. And we brag about it, and then maybe we shouldn't do that. But we do. No, we're just letting you know that you should not be involved in probate. And your probate versus your revocable living trust is what Coach Johnson explained to you in detail. Why you don't want to get involved and put yourself in a position, so you have to go to probate. And if all you have in a will, your will go to probate. And your probate process can last more longer than you. I'm just telling you. There's no end to the time that the probate can show you. Now, that red, white, and blue that I'm showing you here is to show you that this is for America. And I know, I am a singer also. I have a voice scholarship also. And I can sing God Bless America. I just love to sing God Bless America. I haven't heard it in a long time. You know, it's completely draining out. My great-grandchildren have never heard the song God Bless. They never heard it because we don't sing God Bless America anymore. But God is still blessing America. God does not change. You said it in the book of Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. He said, I am the Lord God, I change not. So if he was back when I was a child, 5, 6 years old, singing God Bless America, it's still being blessed by God now. Even the probate persons are stealing money, but God is still blessing that person, keeping them alive to them to take money out of your state that they know they don't have. All right, so look, I'm going to get off of this. I just wanted to point out to you that the coach is now explaining the process, okay? Here's another example of the corporate employee benefits. Now, we're talking about the corporation. Well, 1,000 employees, you got 1,000 employees, the same income. It's just breaking down to show you, and this is illustrative purposes only, illustrating to you why the corporate employee benefits and the self-employed benefits is a same thing. That what I mean by the same thing, the earnings can be exactly the same, because the corporate benefit and the self-employment benefit is paid to you, the bird dog, or the person that's pointing these people to Wealth Transfer Alliance. And everyone you point to Wealth Transfer Alliance is an asset to you. Now, as an advocate, I get paid 10 ways because I am a business builder. And WTA, Wealth Transfer Alliance, just welcomes business builders. It's built on an insurance platform. But it's still, we're going to get there in a minute, it's still a process for you to show you how you can benefit from the process of just getting up and getting involved and get an understanding. Well, Professor is going to give you an understanding over and over again, because every week we have different training sessions, different times of the week. So you can always go to the training session to get a better understanding as to how you're going to put more into your benefit pocket. And one way to do this, to look at it, I'm going to show you in a minute, how to take money out of your right pocket and put it into your left pocket. Now, whose pocket is it in? If it had zero in your left pocket and you had $13,345 in your right pocket, and you took the money out of your right pocket and put it in your left pocket, wouldn't it still be your money in your pocket? But of course, well, it's just an example to show you the whole process. We showed you the self-employment benefits versus the corporate employee benefits. The benefit is the same. Moving on. Now here is we're getting into the revocable trust process. Give me your attention. Give me your attention. We're going to now introduce you to the revocable living trust. Should you were able to do so, you can get the process. I'm going to show you in just a minute. This is my dashboard. My name is David Richardson. I am a wealth transfer allowance advocate, and this is my dashboard. I can sign in, but you can't. Well, you can get the product though, and when you do, you can buy the product. When you buy the software, technology, when you buy the technology, you can get an understanding. Give me your attention. That's going to explain the technology, and we're going to show you that in just a minute. And but when I sign in, and let's watch, this is me signing in. I'm going to sign in right now just to show you the process. But I did tell you now, we are the America's best comprehensive online estate plan. We are the best. And that's not bragging, it's just telling you the truth. We're the best, and we can make comparison. We showed you the coach showing you what we were considering the best, and then we found out they are not the best. You know, I'm looking at this young rookie in football now. He's the best rookie that I've seen. He's not the best because it's always someone better. It's always someone worse than two. The best of the best can always find someone better. The worst of the worst can always find someone worse. Yes, 80,000 homes in Los Angeles has burned in the last 2 or 3 days. They're bad off. But I'm asking God to pray. Asking it shall be given, seeking you shall find, knocking it shall be opened unto you. My it is big enough to believe that God is going to bless all of those persons that who thinking that they have the worst of the worst. They are just in a bad shape today. But tomorrow the sun could be shining brighter on those persons. And that's what we're talking about in the process. Don't let today get you down just because today is today. Today is all God's going to give you. Yesterday, you can't even come to look at it because he's giving you today. But tomorrow, it could be brighter than it is today. All you got to do is think outside the box and believe that it's going to happen. Now, here's the price of the software. It costs $1,995 to get the technology. And the professor up there, he's going to explain it. You can enroll up there. And you're enrolling in the software 2 different things. So we don't, all you would give you 2. At the top, the phone number, call or visit 1-301-328-4886.com. That's the professor. That's the video. And it's also a phone number, 301-328-4186. That's my phone number. And I'm a magicJack customer. And magicJack is a nationwide, of the worldwide phone number. Worldwide. I can call anywhere in the world with magicJack. I have no price. I pay one figure. My phone number doesn't end, my contract doesn't end to 2035. So my magicJack number, I'm good to 2035. Oh my Lord. And my WTA enrollment form, that's good for the rest of my life. Or I'm going to transition and leave that to my loved ones that's going to come behind me. So there's both of those data has 2 or 3 things in both data. The easiest way to avoid paying the probate court or a highly attorney fees to disburse your personal revocable living trust, savings, wealth transfer allowance costs. It's the only way I know to do it. It's the best way I know because we're the world's best. Now the $1,995 is a one-time out-of-pocket fee. One time. You pay $29 or $30 a year to keep the software. $30 a year to keep the software. One time. But that's tax deductible. Look, down at the bottom, we see it down. Yes, you can finance the cost of the software. Use it as a tax credit because it's a tax credit. Remember we talked about the credits a while ago? The software is a tax credit. You take the money out of your left pocket, you put it in your right pocket. If it stays in your right pocket, it's not going to be refunded. You're going to owe the probate court is going to take it every year. Every year they'll take money out of your estate because you're in a probate, and it costs you to be in probate. It's the only cost that I know that never ends. Because you can say, I have a friend. He bought a farm. He was broke on a farm in North Carolina. He had two brothers and a father on the farm. The brothers and the father had transitioned home with the Lord. And now he's in probate now for 9 years. Why? They know that the father and the sons are gone home to be with the Lord. So why is he paying the probate court every month? And you know where the money comes from? Out of your estate. Doesn't come from out of your pocket, but because the money is in your pocket, you can't see. It's your estate in your pocket. But it's in probate. You can't take any money out of your pocket because the probate, you have to get permission from the probate, and the probate court is not going to give you permission to take your hand out of your pocket with money in it, because the probate court is holding the estate that's in your pocket. They're holding in their hand, and they're not going to release it in your hand until they are satisfied to get as much out of your estate as they possibly can, because your estate is now in your pocket, and they take money out of your pocket, out of your estate. Hear what I'm saying? You got well. Anyway, I'm moving on. Now into your and see, my name is here. Welcome to your Client Center, David. I'll put the arrow to show you. This is me. This is my software. This is my technology. This is my revocable living trust to put money in and out of my revocable living trust. This is how yours is going to look exactly like this. And I'm showing you this for a reason. This is just an introduction of the process. And you see Wealth Transfer Allowance at the top. See where they're located in the state of Maryland, but we are nationwide. Nationwide means everything in the United States, and those persons outside the United States, citizens that's working for the United States government or doing something else outside of the United States, they're still an American citizen, so they can have this. Any American citizen can have this software or this technology. That's all we're talking about. But the company is located in Silver Springs, Maryland. You can contact them up there and get information from them on their email. It's the information at wealthtransferalliance.com. This is their email address, and their phone number is right there also. So whatsoever you are inside or outside America, and you watching this information I'm giving you now, you can get it. I'm just showing you who I am and showing you my technology to show you how I set up my own revocable living trust. That's all I'm showing you. And step 1 through 5 are all the steps. It's actually 4, because step 5 is me uploading my revocable living trust information into the vault. And the vault is now locked. And the only person that have access to my vault will be me, and the other persons are persons that I designate to have it. But my username, my password, and my special codes would have to be maintained by me and whoever I designate. That's uploading them information into my vault, the documents. But the documents I'm going to show you now, moving on through my software. And this is how your software is going to look exactly like mine. Everything you see on the left and on the right is identical to what you're going to see now. Now watch. This is how you get started using the technology, starting with step 1 through 5. Step 5 is the vault. So you actually got 4 steps. Okay, this is how you do it. Your name will be shown at the top of all of your welcome pages. You see at the top, welcome to your Client Center, David. That's the same thing I showed you a while ago. But every one of your pages is going to have it. So when I click on the interview page, I'm going to do that now by just clicking at the button at the bottom, because I'm leaving this process here. I'm just moving to show you how your technology look when you go in. Now I'm at step 1. Step 1 now is to introduce, see David Richardson, and look down, just keep reading this. Welcome to the estate planning portfolio for who? David Richardson. So your name is going to be on your revocable living trust. Now look at the center column. It's got cover, welcome, interview, interview review, revocable living trust, certificate of trust. All these data, when you click on, you see the blue turns yellow. When the blue turns yellow, that's where you are on that page. So now you see interview review. That's the page that you see right here with the man in the Herald and the white. They're now into the interview review section. Okay, if they were to go to the left, you see the same thing. You see, I mean to the right, you see the same thing. So you're gonna see, this is me to show you how the right side is yours, technology side. And when you click on the button, it gives you different views, different data to show you what you need to do in order to put information into your revocable living trust. Your will, last will and testament, see that down there? Your last will and testament goes into your revocable living trust. Now, when the court want to see your revocable living trust for your estate is now into your revocable living trust. So now the court can't get you to give him or her a will because your will is into your revocable living trust. You can give them a copy of it, but it won't have anything. They won't be able to put it in their probate because you have it into your own trust. You close the hand of the probate, and the probate is another word for probation. You cut the probation officer off, and the probation officer is the court and the persons that's working in the court. Well, when I go to prison, I'm in prison, and the judge can give me probation, and it's executed by the people who working in the prison. They're not attorneys, but the attorneys for the probate court, because the probate court have my will, and the people that's holding. I'm gonna get out of there. I'm moving on. Take up too much time. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm gonna move a little faster to show you how the estate planning, and all these. This is a couple, and you're gonna see the couple. I'm gonna take the name of the man and say this is David and Janet. All right, this is David and Janet. My name is David Richardson, but this is not me. I'm just giving an idea. This is how you look. Put your name there, and put your you and your friend, or you and your sister, or you and your wife, or whoever you want to put there. Just put them there. Your husband as well. I'm moving on. Here's what they're preparing for your trust now, and what you need to put into your trust. This is just to show you that, and you need 5 items. These are the 5 items primarily that you need into your trust. This is step 2. And I'm told you, when you see it, you're going to see the names going to be there. Okay, this is step 2 to review your trust and how you can generate your documents, review them, and go back to make changes on them and put them right back into your vault. Okay, and this is only to put this picture here to reiterate to you, to show you how WTA training is going to give you all that information. But you got to, at least to get to that, you can go to WTAtraining.us right now on your phone and get the same thing I'm going to be the coach is telling you about. All right, I'm moving on. I'm about at the end now. Okay, this is step 3. Interview, and to make sure to click on and read the information on the right side under the welcome tabs. You see all the welcome tabs. You see, I use the same tab just to show you that the yellow is now you into that particular area, the interview area. But if I were to go down and hit the financial power of attorney, it would be yellow. You follow what I'm saying? And if I go further down to the bottom, see the funding kit. The funding, your revocable living trust has to be funded. And the red or the green down at the bottom to show you how you're going to do. The last thing you're going to do is to fund it in your funding kit, because your funding kit controls everything that you're going to put in. But what I'm trying to show you is this is my software, and look down under it says the trustee section. Look whose name that you see there. You see, I'm not going to get that, but that's what you see, and that's all we're trying to show you here. Only thing I'm trying to show you is that your name is going to be on your technology. Okay, I'm showing you my technology for a reason, to show you why you don't want to pass this up, because it's going to put money in your pocket. When you transition and go home to the Lord, your money will be left where you want it to be, for who you want it to be left to. Okay, now I'm moving on because time is of an essence right now. I'm not going to go hopefully past an hour. And that's about that. Now look, funding your trust. I just showed you. You see in this in the center here, look down on there, it says funding. See the red? You're funding your trust. And this is, I left it on this whole section here for the interview review. But you're funding. You see the funding your trust? And down in the blue, above the blue, say you click there and to start each kit. When you click on that little button, it's going to show you what you need to put into that particular kit in your funding, in your trust that you're funding now. You're funding your trust. And your house, your boat, your cars, your jewelry, your baseball cards, or whatever you want of a value, That's an asset. Now remember that word assets. I'm an accountant. Assets is your personal belonging. Liability, the L, is who you owe. But if you don't owe anybody, then your liability, your assets and your proprietorship is the same. Proprietorship is yours because you don't owe anybody anything. And when you go home to be the Lord, you can leave a debt. But many debts after you transition going with the Lord are forgiven. There's a forgiveness of debt in America, because if I'm deceased and I put my revocable living trust in the hands of my beneficiary or the person that's in charge of my trust, that person doesn't have to know anything about my liabilities. And you notice there's nothing in here about liabilities. Everything in here is about your asset, your living will. That's all in your will, but your will don't have debts in it. I'm moving on. This is step 3. I'm moving on, taking too much time. I just want you to stop this and get this understanding of what we're talking about. This is funding kit. You're funding your trust. This is where you're going to go over it. Each time you're going to have to get 2-step process. This is for the funding kit and the instructions for your funding your trust. And if you don't fund your trust, you don't have one. All trusts have to be funded. And this data here is going to show you how to get your revocable living trust funded. And this is going you back to John Doe back into 2008. But you study these data here to get an understanding about funding your trust. And you see the 2 persons here, the example, the 2 people putting a home into the trust. Everything has got a deed on it should be in your trust. And your deeds are going to be on a property. And the persons I'm telling one of the persons today about talking about this process, your trust your property has a deed. That's an asset. But the persons in California whose home are burning down now are really concerned about building back. But the land has the deed on it. The house doesn't have the deed, but the house, it has a deed, but the house is on the land, and the land and the house have the deed. So when the house is blown away, burned up like it was in these cases in California, the land is still there, and the deed is in somebody's hand. The deed was put up, so I can go get a copy of my deed and build on my land. My assets is the other part of my asset. The land is an asset, and the house that's on the land is also part of that asset. So now I put a home on my land. I'm taking too much of your time. You can do all this for yourself. I'm just showing you how your technology will look. This is 4. You only got 5. This is 4. Is to show you how your estate planning portfolio now is 4 for your revocable living trust. And down in the center, or either on the side, you click on in these tabs, and it's going to show you, up on it says revocable living trust. It's going to give you all the information you need to put into your revocable living trust. And you see the hand in the hand? Well, the bigger hand is going to, in this process is set up, it's going to transition. And then the smaller hand is owning the trust because the hand is in the hand. If you can understand the principle of what this picture is showing, and the picture says worth 1,000 words. And I see the revocable living trust having someone within the revocable living trust that's going to be controlling the revocable living trust someday. Because the bigger hand, I'm expected to transition with the Lord and leave my unborn and my younger siblings, and I won't say siblings, but my children are now with my trust. I'm almost sure you understand the picture. I'm just moving on, but that's what the picture's saying to me. And I honestly believe it was saying the same thing to you. Okay, now look at this. This is a conclusion. This is your vault. This is where you're putting everything into your vault. And your password, again, your username, your password, and your codes that you need to open your vault. And you may have 4 or 5 different codes to get into your vault, because only one that's ever have a need to go into your vault, either be you or the designated person or persons that you have used to go into your revocable living trust or to upload information into your revocable living trust. Because remember now, your revocable living trust is technology. It's not hard copy it. You can print out a copy, but you got to go into your technology to print out of your revocable living. You got to go into your revocable living trust and say, print this page, and it'll print the page for you. And in your revocable living trust, you can print your will out and mail it to the court. This is a probate court. Now the probate court know from your information that's on your data that you now have your will into your revocable living trust, and the court can't do anything about it because it's now protected by you with the hand in the hand. It's protected by you. And you can upload the information. See, the picture worth 1,000 words. You can upload the information into your vault yourself. Okay, I'm moving on. Just wanted to show you the principle that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In conclusion, the professor, right up on the professor, he's got the phone number. That's two things in one. And on the right side, the WTA of enrollment form, right there, you can enroll right now. Okay, and once you enroll, you're going to get a welcoming back, and then you can let phone number 301-334-186, or you can, I would know from your enrollment form, because the company, WTA, World Transfer Alliance, would let me know that you just enrolled. And these are the 6 steps or 5 steps that I showed you a while ago. I'm just showing you over and over again. Give me your attention. I'm just showing you over and over again how to set up your own revocable living trust. That's all we've been talking about, is a revocable living trust. Now I got a couple more slides to show you, and this is one of the main ones, the professor at the top, and how to enroll is all at the top. But everything on below that is to show you, if you're older than 20 years old, you perhaps know who Marilyn Monroe was. Well, she left $370,000 in the probate court. Well, look at Doris Dukes under her. She left $1.3 billion in the probate court. Okay, look at James Brown, who left $100 million when he passed at age 73, but he had quite a few radio stations. Got to drink water. He had a few radio stations and other investments that he had that are still producing, but no one can get it because it's in the probate. And he's not here because he's transitioning, going home with the Lord to tell him how to do it. Well, look at that. Look at the Warren Burger. He was a Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court judge didn't have a revocable living trust. Waiting at 88, waiting to get a revocable living trust. All right, look at the young guy right up under him, Jimmy Kendrick. Jimmy Kendrick, 27 years old, left $80 million into the probate court. I told you the probate court is a wealthy organization. But look at Miss Helmsley. I remember Miss Helmsley's story because I was really concerned about her when I was listening at the story. 87 years old, left $5 billion into the probate court. All she needed was a revocable living trust. Left $5.5 billion. All right, Wealth Transfer Alliance technology is what I've been showing you. To avoid paying state probate court costs and attorney fees, set yourself up your own revocable living trust. And it'll go to your family. Your revocable living trust will go to your family and not to the probate court. That's what we're talking about. And everything I've been talking about now for a few minutes is the revocable living trust. Now look, we're moving on. This is me. I'm not going to duplicate it again. I just wanted to show you what this is really all about. Now look, here again is the technology. I've shown you this one. I'm just trying to show you over and over again that in order to get this the way you want it, you want to just do what you see on this video. You can stop and go back, play it over, sit down with your people and look at it. Now this happened today, but the person that's here has a $4 billion investment, and the process is to get even more, because I'm surrounding myself with billionaires, and the billionaires are going to help me get to where I want to go. Watch the video. I'll put it down just for you to see. The video, it'll open your eyes. It tells you the video does a little bit more than the picture. That's a picture worth 1,000 words. And you can read into the video to see that the intent here is to make myself wealthy again, wealthier than anyone you know. Because these religions are all about me. It has nothing to do with America. If I can sucker you into the process, then I have done what I set out to do. So I'm closing this is David. Make sure you share it with someone else. This is going to be about an hour long, 1 hour exactly. But you want to share this video with other people, especially the ones you love, and anyone else that you want to be a business partner with. So you paid 10 ways. Bye-bye. This is David. I love you.